Friends, we now come to the final session of our two-day program. And once again, I want to thank all of you for coming and joining me so that I could share with you my experiences with the perfect living master, Hazur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh, the picture you see here. Whatever I have shared with you is taken directly from him and is arising from my experience by following his instructions. The more closely and more devotedly I followed his instructions, the better were the results. The final conclusion is that this is a path of love and devotion. All other things, including meditation, is meant for our mind. We satisfy our mind with these things, but what will take us to our true home is love and devotion. And we have experienced that the love that we have from a master, perfect living master, is unconditional. There is no judgment in that. And that pulls us. It does not touch our body and mind so much as it touches our soul. We feel it in the inmost self that this is what we were waiting for. A feeling comes, we were waiting for something like this. And that is what eventually creates devotion in us. Why we use these two terms, love and devotion? Because love comes from the master and our response is devotion. We automatically get devoted to somebody whose love is powerful and draws us out from our soul. So that is why we call this a path of love and devotion. So I shared with you this morning the beginnings of meditation, how we can learn how to meditate at the right place, at the third eye center, how just being there can bring about great results. If you just do nothing else but spend time every morning at the third eye center, internal visions will open up and you will get experiences of your own astral body. It looks difficult, but it's not that difficult if you start trying. So since we are now discovering this is not our world, we don't belong here. We just come here for a little trip. We came for a vacation actually. We came for to have a good time. We thought by having new experiences, we'll have a good time. We did not come to suffer. We came to enjoy ourselves in a new experience. Of course, we designed the new experience with highs and lows to create a thrill into it. We love thrills. And the thrill part somehow overtook us and we forgot our true home. We forgot we only came for a little while to enjoy this world and to go back, and we got immersed into it. We got into the problems of this world as if they are our problems. We got into the play that was being staged before us as if it is our own real role. We just took one character's role. We were the audience. We did not come to participate in this world. We came to witness the world. We came to witness this creation. As it happened, in order to witness this very closely, what we did was, we did not sit outside the creation to watch it. We came right into the creation. Not only into the creation, we picked up one character in the play and sat inside the head of that character. Today we are thinking we are that character. We forgot we're just sitting in the head of one character. And that character is part of the play. When we say the rest of the world is created by us, it's not the body that's creating it. The body itself is the creation of the same order as the rest of the world. The creation is taking place from somewhere else, which is also within us. Because this creation has not taken place from up to down or wide, width-wise or longitude-wise or any-wise. It's all taken place externally around us. We are in the center of this creation and center with the Creator, and all the creation is around us. So when we go to our own center, a center in our own self where we are sitting now, we are sitting in the center of one of the characters in the play. And mistakenly we think we are that character. And that character is now to search for its true home. Nothing of the sort. This character has nothing to do with the search. this character that is having a destiny to play, a role to play, a predetermined script to play, has nothing to do with the search. It's a character that's involved in this play. We are sitting inside that character, and that's the seeker that wants to go back home. Because we have to move from there towards the direction where our home is, and the direction is further and further within. Because as we remain out into the outer mask we are wearing, we see different shows. And when we see these shows around us, we take them to be real and get involved in them. We know that these masks we are wearing, these bodies we are wearing, are temporary. Nobody has kept a human body, physical body forever. It's a very short-lived body. We all leave it, we all die. You've seen people dying everywhere. Masters die, enlightened people die. The body never survives. Every body dies. And yet we think that in this play, that we will assemble things, we will make things our own, we will make people our own. And when we die, nothing is our own. They recede like shadows. When a person dies, imagine what kind of experience it is to leave a body. To leave the body, you discover it, that was not you. You're leaving something as a mask. You're leaving something like clothing, like a shirt. A dirty shirt has to be cleaned, you take it off. And that is how you leave your body behind. You leave your body behind. You leave eventually your astral body behind. You leave your mind behind. These are limited time things. But the soul that never was born, never will die, remains the same at all times. Everything changes except the soul that's a witness to this change. The self never changes, everything else around it changes. And our own self, that consciousness that is creating all these changes around itself, is the seeker. It's seeking its own self. It's seeking its own totality. It is seeking its totality because it has been covered by the reality created by illusion. A reality created so real that we get immersed into it. We did a good job to create reality to have a better experience, but we totally forgot. It was only temporary, and we had to go back home. We today go to a carnival, an amusement park, and we enjoy all the rides. We see a Ferris wheel going round and round. We see those little horses going up and down in circles, and we enjoy those rides like little children. We all enjoy. And then we come back home. Supposing somebody says, I want to buy those things, I want to stay there, these are mine. He won't get anything. We have to leave the park. We have to come back. And that is how we are treating this world. We're trying to make those things and those people our own who can never become our own. They are only part of the play. Part of the play in which the character in which we are sitting has to act with them, interact with them. We don't have to interact with them. The script runs like that. It's a predetermined script. When there's a predetermined script, the actors who are very good will remember the script well, and they will not falter from the original script. But supposing an actor forgets that is a script, forgets it's a play, and goes on thinking it's real, he's still acting according to the script. The script is already predetermined. The script does not change. And that is why we are trying to make changes. We think the mind is our own self, and with the mind we can think something different. That is pre-recorded also. The mind is also a cover, and how the mind thinks, how it makes choices, is also predetermined. And that is why only when we transcend these covers of ours, when we discover this body is not us, just a cover upon us, when we discover the sense perceptions or the body of sense perceptions, the astral body is not ourselves, just a cover to experience a created reality through sense perceptions. When we discover the mind is not ourselves, the mind is a thinking machine attached to consciousness in order to think out and generate experiences by thoughts, and it's also a machine, a cover upon ourselves. And then we discover who we are. Then only are we enlightened to our own reality, and we then realize, what a strange play. You might say, what a strange play. You might say, what a bad play. You say, I'm going to rewrite the script. Next time I'm not going to do like that. You may say hundreds of things. But it was your script that you played out. And you put all those things. And it didn't matter at all which character you went into. to see the show. There is a book called the Canterbury Tales, written by a British author, Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote that book in the 17th century, and that book became very important in English literature because it's the first time a storyteller was creating characters with a character. Otherwise, before that, the storyteller did not induce any special character in the actors in the story. A king was always a king, a queen was always a queen. But he introduced the concept, a king can be a kind king, a king can be a cruel king, a king can be a smiley king can be a frowning king. He put character first time in his play, in the whole of English literature. Therefore, in that book, the Canterbury Tales, which is considered the foundation of modern novel, in that book, there is a story of about 40 or 50 pilgrims. They are going for a pilgrimage to Canterbury. Canterbury is their destination, and it will take about a month to go there. They are all walking, some are on horseback, some are in a carriage, and they are all going slowly to pass their time. They are telling poems, stories to each other. And this guy, the author himself, who writing all these characters, and it's beautiful poetry he has written, he himself says, I was also there. So he puts himself in the story as one of the characters. He says, I was also walking with them. Now the other characters are walking with them. As the story moves on, they ask him, come on, you are such a great poet. You're a great storyteller. Come up with some nice poem. He says, I don't know any poetry. He is the author of all the poems in the book. But as a character in the story, he says, I don't know any poem. And they say, come on, we know you are a poet. They recognize him as an author of poetry. They recognize his reality. And he still says, no, I don't know. Ultimately, when they insist on his reciting a poem, he comes out with the worst doggerel rhyme in the whole book. And not that nobody knows, everybody criticizes him. We expected something better from you. Why did this author get criticized by his own creation? Sometimes they have referred to this particular incident with the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. That if Jesus Christ was Son of God, one with God, how could he be crucified by his own creation? The same question rises here. How could this author get crucified, criticized by his own creation, all the characters? The answer is simple. The author knew that he was all the characters. He was all the characters. His awareness that he was all the characters did not matter which character he becomes in the story, which character he takes up in the story. It didn't matter at all whether he was high or low in the story. He was all the characters. When we come here, we are all the characters. Our totality is all of us. One, all of us. We generate these characters for the story and then sit into one of the characters. When we get enlightened, we get an awareness, we are that which is in all of us. We are not what we are looking at. We are someone who's created this for the sake of a play. Then you enjoy this play, no matter how ups and downs there are, because it's your creation. And this is possible even if you're sitting in one character. So when you get enlightened to the truth and discover who you really are, when you find out you are the soul, not the covers upon the soul, the whole story, no matter what it is, becomes very interesting. And right now, I said, when you wake up to that level and find out you made up the story, you will say, oh, I could have written a better story. Oh, I could have done this. Won't happen like that. When you wake up, you say, what an interesting, good job I did. Because there you are not looking at one section of creation. You are looking at total creation. When you look at totality of creation, it's as perfect as totality of consciousness. When you see a part of it, it is imperfect. The imperfection is by seeing a part of something. You see the whole, it's perfect. Supposing there's a painting, a nice painting hung on our wall, and we look at it and say, what a beautiful painting. We're looking at the whole painting. Looks beautiful. Now take it down and cut it into little pieces. 1 square inch pieces of the entire painting, and heap them up on a table. And then start looking at each piece again and again. You can look at the pieces thousands of times, you won't see the painting. Because you have dissected the painting through analysis, through analytical process, into so many small pieces, you can't see the whole. This is exactly what happens to us in life. We have divided this life, which was an instantaneous experience, into days and nights, into years and years, into space and time, and we can never see the whole. Therefore, we never see the beauty of the total creation. We see little fragments, and they're imperfect. If you could see the whole, it's perfect. So that is why when you get enlightened to the point where you can discover who you are, not your mind, not your senses, not your body, but the soul. When you discover that, you see perfection in this creation. So I hope those interested, who is seeking, will go within themselves and discover this. I only touched with the beginning portion of meditation, which was how to start, where to start. But how to proceed further, you need guidance. You need a lot of guidance at every step. If there's a block that you can't move forward, get guidance. What has stopped you? If you feel there's danger somewhere on the way, stop. Check why is there danger? What protection can I have? If you find you have been put astray somewhere, stop. Check how can I get back on track? Therefore, we need a guide, even for internal meditation, although the process of meditation is all going within. Who can be our guide when we want to go within? Can we trust our guides inside? When we are in meditation, can we call upon some angels or call upon some guardian angels or call upon some power inside? It's very dangerous, because every time we call upon any power inside, we are calling upon our own mind. And the mind answers, and the mind is not interested in your going home. The mind is interested in your staying here. It is almost you have vested so much consciousness into the mind, given so much power to the mind, you made it like a separate entity, and that you are going by what the mind is saying. And therefore, the mind has overwhelmed you. So therefore, when you want to get guidance from inside, the mind can disturb you. Then where do you get guidance from? Outside, everything is self-created. How can you guidance from shadows? How can you get guidance from a created universe outside? So you are stuck in this, and the mind takes advantage. It says, no, there's nobody to give you guidance. You are your own self, and nobody inside can give you guidance. It's your mind. There's no way to get enlightened. The truth is that you, before you left your true home, made foolproof arrangement to be able to go back home, knowing this snag is there in the creation, knowing that you can get trapped in this creation. You made a foolproof arrangement. You arranged before you left your true home that when I am at that level of creation where I am in one character, in a physical world, in my creation itself, a physical person will appear with awareness. It will be my awareness being spoken by a person who is separate from me, created by me. And yet, he will be able to give me the guidance, because he will have stored that information about who we really are and will speak from outside to me, because I cannot hear him from inside. When you hear that person from outside and he begins to teach, we call him perfect living master, who is speaking from the awareness where you want to go. He is not an independent person. If we are creating everything, he is also created by us, by the same power. There was a great Swami in India, Swami Vivekananda. He came to Chicago more than 100 years ago. Nearly 120 years ago, he came to Chicago and spoke in the World Congress of Religions. And the third day when he was speaking there, he said, for 2 days I have been telling you that this world you are watching is Maya, Mithya, illusion, not real. He said, when I am telling you this world is unreal, then I must also be unreal. You are looking at the same piece that is part of this world. That is true. I am equally unreal as the world is, with one difference. The rest of the world is pulling you outside to the world, and I am putting you back into your own self. You have assigned a role to me in this illusion to put you back on track and go within. This is exactly what happens. These perfect living masters are created beings like us. They are also characters, but they have a role to perform, and their role is to come with awareness of the highest and share that awareness with us. So we go back, and at the end we find out we were that master. They were not separate from us. We ourselves made that arrangement, and they came into our life because of that. There we find unity. There is no difference at all. We made this arrangement ourselves to go back home when we get trapped into this world. Now we are in that position. We are trapped in this world, and these human beings come, and they have to be utterly human. I must point out this. Supposing an enlightened person comes and is not utterly human, he is extraordinary, superhuman. We will not be able to get much guidance from that person. I give the example sometimes that supposing a superhuman master comes while we are talking here. He comes from the door, is flying in the sky. Here, he is flying up in, and we see him up there. What will be our reaction? A superhuman master is now flying in this hall. We look up, some of us, many of us will say, there must be a trick. There are some strings attached somewhere. That will be the first reaction. When we can't find any things, then some of us may swoon, just faint at the sight of somebody just levitated so high. The rest of us will say, remarkable, wonderful. You will be greatly amused, entertained. You may even worship that person. You may start worshipping, but you cannot love that person. In no way can you love such a person. It's too far removed from you. But supposing, while performing this levitation up in the sky, he falls down. So many of us will run to him and say, are you hurt? Sorry. And first spark of love can come to us. It has to be utterly human, to be a friend. And a master cannot be a master if he's not our friend. He is the best friend that we can ever have. A friend, if we follow his instructions and we go within, he manifests there and becomes a friend 24/7, available to us 24/7. There is no friendship like that I can find here. Therefore, it's the ideal friendship. And a master cannot be truly a master if he is removed from us, if he is separated from us, if he cannot be close to that master. That is why a master has to be a live person, living person, human person, totally human, like ourselves, and we become friends, and then we find out his state of awareness is where he has come to help us. A gradual discovery of who a master is. We started with a friend, and ultimately find he's the ultimate of our own self, our own totality, that he's come for our own arrangement to go back home. This is a very interesting thing, how these masters come. They need not say they are masters. If they say they are masters, then obviously they are not human enough. They already qualified themselves to be separate from us. Therefore, they don't even say that. They don't say we are masters, they don't live differently, but their love is different, always different. And that distinguishes them. You can associate with them. The more you associate, the more you discover the unconditional nature of their love. Never see anger in them, never see any hatred in them, never see any judgment in them, never see any other kind of thing that we can't control in ourselves, and there is some control going on. It's an ordinary human being, but there is something different. As we associate more, that unconditional love of that person draws us, draws the inmost part of us, our soul. And then we know the mind fights it. The mind even fights that. The mind creates doubts. How can you be sure? The mind is deceiving us even in worldly love. We fall in love with somebody, the mind says, I can't be sure. And why? When I hear people talking to each other, I love you, I love you. I say, why are they saying it so much? If they love somebody, do you have to state it over and over again? They are not sure. If they were sure, they'd be happy, relaxed. And if somebody says, I love you, but the response is, but I don't. The lover says, then I also hate you. What kind of love is that? You see it every day. Such conditional love. What have you done for me lately? That kind of love. I love you, but you haven't done anything for me. People come and tell me, I love that person so much. Look what that person did to me. I said, how could that be love? In true love, what happens? The beloved becomes part of your thought, replaces your ego. Your I goes back, and the beloved comes in front. You can't think of anybody else except that. Your thoughts of I are replaced by the beloved. That's love. Love is something identifying with somebody. It's not what we are calling. We are calling these ordinary attachments, these ordinary infatuations with people as love. That's not love. Where they say I and you, when a person says I love you, I always have a doubt that this person is loving I more than you, because he's putting I ahead of you. I love you, the person is I. Too much I. It's an ego trip, virtually. You see so many people talking like this, I love you, and you find the whole emphasis on I. That I am doing something for you. In love, you don't think like that at all. These thoughts don't come. In love, you can only think of you. I forgot myself. I. That's love. If you want to experience that kind of love, you go and spend some time with these perfect living masters and see how you feel about it. So, unconditional, pure love that comes from the soul, from the spirit, is very different from the attachments that come from the mind. These attachments, these infatuations, they come from our chakras, energy chakras and the mind. They don't come from our soul. True love comes from our soul. And that is why, as we get enlightened, we discover the mystery of all these things. These are so mysterious because we are looking at the whole universe upside down, backwards. We are looking at the universe as if the external creation is real. Internally, we have come only for a little while to experience this reality. The truth is opposite of this. The truth is we are immortal. We just created a small self outside, and the small self, in whatever form it is, creates a world of its own. When we are in a physical body, we create a physical world. Find out the truth. When we are in an astral body, we create a whole astral world. When we are in a mental body, we create a whole causal world. And as soon as we change our form, the whole world changes. When we leave these, everything disappears. A man who's dying, a person who's dying, cannot fully express. He is too dead to be able to tell us what's happening. He is seeing this whole world that's around him receding from him. And only when the other inner self, the astral self, opens up, he can see an astral world. If it's the overlap, he can see both. But when he's dying, he says, what was I? This is going away, just becoming a shadow. While I was working all my life to make these people my own, I was working all my life to collect things. Nothing will go with me. They say that Alexander the Great, a great conqueror from Egypt, he went to India. He looted all the temples. And on his caravan, he was carrying all the wealth that he looted. He killed so many people, made so many women widows, so many children orphans in his conquest of the East. And when he was coming back, before he could reach Egypt, he got sick and had a very high fever. And the doctors accompanying him, the physician said, Alexander, your last time has come. He said, no, I cannot die. When I was a little child, a gypsy told me, Alexander the Great, you will be the greatest emperor, greatest conqueror of the world, and you will never die. Your death will only come when the sky becomes gold and the earth becomes silver. You will not die till then. So Alexander the Great said, I cannot die. And then because he was so sick, they had to take him off from his horse, from his carriage, and they had a silver armor which he used. They spread the silver armor on the ground, lay him on that, and there was a golden umbrella, a royal golden umbrella they put on top of him. When he saw the gold above, the silver below, he said, my time has come. He accepted the gypsy was right. He says, can you physicians just take me back up to Alexandria into Egypt? Just take me to my hometown. They said, sorry, Alexander, you don't have that time. He said, I'll give all the wealth that is laden upon all these horses and camels. I'll give away all my wealth to anybody who can take me back to my home in Egypt. They said, sorry, Alexander, nothing can be done. He said, I killed so many people, I wounded so many, and I can't even carry the loot that I created for myself. Nothing is mine. Then he ordered that when I die, in my coffin, my hand should be kept outside, so that the whole world should know, even Alexander the Great died empty-handed and could not carry anything from this world. We all die empty-handed. But look at the amount of time we spend in acquiring things and trying to make people our own. Does it work like this? Then how should one live in this world? Live as if everything belongs to the Lord. Live like everything belongs to the creative power, not to the character that you are here. And these have been given to you for use, for company, for use. Enjoy while you are here. And don't try to make things your own. You will enjoy them and go back home cheerfully. So, but what we don't live like that. We try to make things our own, possess, and then we collect so much stuff. I sometimes go and say, what is in this garage of yours? So many packages. Well, we got some beautiful things which we have never opened and seen because we never had the time to open them. And then you die. There was a friend of mine in Chicago and he moved to Las Vegas. So I was having a program not too far in California and he didn't come. I said, you didn't come, you promised to come and see me. He said, I had the money to come, but I put it on a layaway. What's a layaway? Yes. On a layaway for a beautiful chair. The chair is costing $900 or $800, $900, and I put my money that I was supposed to travel to see you on the layaway chair. When I complete 900, I'll get the chair. Next time again he missed. He said I had to put the second installment on my layaway. And then he died. Never got the chair. Now imagine what his thoughts and feelings would be when he dies. His thoughts are on the chair. His thoughts are, I didn't get the chair. Just for that one strong thought, he has to be born again just to get the chair. We create our own future like that. We create futures by your attachment to things here, and none of them are our own. So this is how we are leading our life of continuous birth and rebirth. But if we take this as a show and withdraw ourselves to where we belong and get the advice, be a seeker, and if you are a seeker, a perfect living master will come into your life no matter what, no matter where, by coincidence, by circumstances, by so-called accidents. The person will be there. And when he appears, it will take you time to know why he is there. Gradually, the unconditional love of that person will pull you. And you will discover he's come to be your friend forever. And will become your friend forever when he accepts you. So that is why the most important thing we can do if we realize this is not our true home is to be a seeker inside. Don't have to shout outside. If the person with total awareness can't read our inside seeking, then he's not a perfect living master. If he can't even know what we are seeking and does not appear, he's not what we are talking about. He knows before we can know. He knows more about ourselves than we know. And therefore, when we appear before that person and he can tell us things which we are not sure of ourselves, about ourselves. So that is why these people with that kind of awareness, they are our own creation to help us go back home. I hope you will take full advantage of your seeking. I know you are seekers. You are all here because you are seeking, and you will find. That's the truth. If you seek, you will find. Period. No question about it. So I hope, best of wishes to you, all of you. The program ends here, and we will have the distribution of prasad. You have the prasad here. I would love to come to each one of you to hand over this prasad. But because of my age and health, I crave your indulgence. If you can come over to me, will that be all right with you?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we come one by one. Come one by one.